then there could be a mistrial, and that would be a terrible miscarriage of justice. So as a consequence, I know that the prosecutor's office is being extremely careful. We are very careful as commissioners not to exert any influence over the defense or the prosecution. One of the things that can be said is in terms of the cost of this extraordinary cost to a small county like ours, is that we can apply, and I believe we have applied and have received from the state some compensation to help cover the extraordinary cost. And when you think of extraordinary cost, it's not only the cost of prosecution and defense, but the cost of keeping another person in the jail for whom we are responsible for all their medical and their dental and their psychiatric. And whenever a person comes into our county jail, that person is ours. We're in loco parentis, so to speak. And we have to pay for everything that happens with that person. A few years ago, there was an increase of folks who were getting arrested on violations of probation. And if you're arrested for violation of probation and then you have to go to court, guess who pays for that? And sit in a courtroom sometime and you'll see county employees. One of the highest paid county employees is sitting behind the bench. Then we have another county employee who's taking notes, and then we have a couple of defense attorneys, and we're paying for them most of the time. And then we have our very effective prosecutors. So I've said enough.
Scott? I'm Scott Rosecrans. I'm the Chief Felony Deputy Prosecuting Attorney. And it's a big picture thing, including the current case. I've been involved in making this decision 5 times. I've prosecuted and defended murder cases, but I've been involved in death penalty decisions at least 5 times in my 20-year career. And it is a big picture thing, and you have to take a lot of things into consideration when you go ahead and make that decision. And it's something we do take real seriously, and there's just a lot of factors involved in it, and I can assure you that all those factors were taken into consideration in this case. So, like I say, been there, done that, and nobody, between Julie and I think we've got probably 11 or 12 murder trials between the two of us, so we just don't jump in just because you can jump in. We don't rush to judgment, so you just have to take our word for that. Thanks.
Can I ask, have you actually prosecuted a death penalty case?
The decisions that I made in the past, due to certain factors, I did file to proceed with the death penalty, but as these things go along, through factors, negotiations, or whatever, we did not go all the way through to the death penalty case.
So you actually have not?
Not gone to a jury with a death penalty case. One overdosed and died in jail, so he beat me to it. One decided to testify against the co-defendant, and then the other one decided to go ahead and plead to life without parole with a 10-year escape charge on top of it. So those are some factors that go into making those decisions. You just have to take each case as it is.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Sheriff Hernandez, this is under we've got 7 questions here specifically on funding and budget. Someone has written, Sheriff Hernandez, at the last town hall meeting, you said you were begging the federal government for funding. Why? And what do they want you to do or change? What is the funding for? Do you take orders from the Department of Homeland Security?
Well, what I meant you're a great man, Mike. What I meant by begging is that we are, like I said when I was before you we are in an economic crisis like no other. So, as an administrator, I need to be looking for funding streams to be able to help me facilitate my mission. So I am looking in every crevice and under every nook and cranny for any kind of funding that might be able to help me. Because like I said before, I don't have a large staff, and I've become quite good at soliciting community to help me because I have 100 volunteers and only 51 paid staff. But as far as Homeland Security, I have not crossed that bridge yet. I was successful with Julie in getting this rural law enforcement grant for $450,000. But I continue to look at other grant opportunities might be out there. But as far as any kind of grant funding that I have received from Homeland Security, that just has not come to fruition yet. But I still continue to look at what grants might be available out there. And I'm certainly not going to rule out any funding as long as it's for the good of the order.
Sheriff, would you receive, this is, I'm taking liberty here. Would you accept or pursue federal money or state money that fundamentally required you to do something different that you would not be comfortable doing?
Well, I'm never going to compromise my principles. And,
Okay.
so that's all there is.
The county gets no significant revenue from mineral extraction, i.e. rock, gravel, and sand. What can be done to assure that this fact can be addressed so that we get something for the removal of this resource from this county?
Well, what we're working on right now is I'm on the Legislative Steering Committee, and for the Washington Association of Counties, I've got draft legislation going forward that would give the counties severance fee on sand, gravel, and hard rock that would be based on the timber tax. We get 4%, the state gets 5%, or 1% of a 5% tax on timber. Timber is a renewable resource. Gravel is not. Once it's gone, it's gone. And so the argument is that we should get the same tax for the removal of this very, very valuable product. I can't remember the statistic on the number of tons of concrete per man, woman, and child that is used every year, but it's substantial. Huge. And it's a real struggle in Olympia, trying to get tax through at this point when every legislator, basically, the vast majority are scared to death of any type of tax to be considered to be in any way slowing the recovery. So it's a fight. I've got the full support, not the full support, but the Legislative Steering Committee in Washington Association of County, I'd say that I've got 90% support. The bill has been dropped in the House. We're struggling right now with the chair of the House Finance Committee because he does not want to have hearings. So I'll be in Olympia again Thursday working this issue.
Would letters from us help?
Letters from you would help, I think, to our delegation, to our legislators.
Well, how about to the chair of the committee?
And to the chair of the committee.
Oh,
And
who
I'm
is
also
that?
pointing out that we're not getting a lot of support from our delegation. And, what?
You are getting support?
Not very much yet. Now, Lynn Kepler is, what's happening is the state is getting inundated with taxes, state proposals for taxes. Everybody's looking for a way to keep their government working. And so she's basically told me she's going to look at all these and then have to make her decision on whether any of them are valid or not.
So with this severance tax that you're proposing, this 5%, would it replace a current tax? Or is this an additional, brand new 5%
Right now,
that
the
these guys are going to have to
state
pay?
of Washington gets a business and occupation tax on gravel mining companies.
How about sales tax?
Their sales tax. Sales tax.
Point of sale.
The sales tax goes to the point of sale. Most of our gravel is taken off Kitsap County. If the picture goes through, there will be 7 to 10 million cubic yards of gravel that will be leaving our area